Well, hello there. Today we're going to be doing a mini brands make. We're going to be making a mini brands garden. Now let me just get this little booklet out for you first. So we're going to be doing one of these. So you have in this series some really cool ones. These are the ultra rares. These are the common. These are more common, and more common. So we're going to be doing this one today, the little sunflowers with the butterfly, which I really love. I think it's adorable. So here is our list for our make. You can see from here, so you've got all these pieces, and then we go all the way through and we do that. So these are all the pieces we have for this one. So let me get each piece out individually and show you what we've got. So we have an adorable little watering can. Love that. Love that, love that, love that. That's going to look amazing in my little garden area. We have this massive vase and then this little stopper, which obviously everything clips into the stopper and then the stopper goes into the base. So we'll do that. That's the first thing we're going to do once we've opened all of this. I was going to say unboxed. There's no boxing to be had. So in this one we have our flowers, our connector and our butterfly. So there's the little butterfly. Absolutely adorable. Really love that. Very cute. We have our magic UV glue, aka UV resin. We have two little fake rosebuds. And then we have 4 little sunflowers. I say little. I have quite small hands, but they are still quite big. And then our little connector. So there's that. And then the last bit that we have is all these stems. So we have 2 of those and 2 of those. I'll show you these closer up. I'll show you one of each because obviously they're 2. So I'll show you this one first. There we go. So that's one type of stem, and then that's the other type of stem. So the first thing it tells you to do is to take one of these stems and to attach a rosebud onto one and some flowers onto the other 2. So I'm going to pop a rose in the middle. It shows to do the sunflowers on the other side, but I want to do it this way. I think it will provide more variety this way. I do love a sunflower. I think they're pretty, so that's that one done. And then okay, then we do the same with the other one. Okay, this is quite strange. So there's 4 holes in this. Sorry, I've got a tickly throat again. I seem to always be having a tickly throat at the moment. I do apologise. So we'll pop that stem in there. And then that stem in there. It does show it being a bit more splayed out, but I don't know how you do that. I mean, that kind of works. And then we'll splay these out a bit as well, as best we can. And then we'll pop that one on this side, I think, because I think I'd like it to be that way around, so we'll have that going that way and then the other one going that way. I know what I'm talking about, I promise. So on this one we're going to do a rose there, a sunflower there, and a sunflower there. And I've just realised I've done exactly the way that they wanted me to do that first one, and exactly the way they want me to do the second one. Oh well. Okay. So now that they're all where they should be, absolutely massive bouquet of flowers. Now that that's all where it should be, that clips into here like this. Ooh. I feel like it perhaps would have been better, like easier, to have done that first. I'm going to put some resin in the bottom of there, and then I'm going to pop that in just to give it a bit of extra stability, because it wants to pop back out and I do not want it to. That is not what I want. Go away. I'm not going to bother using the funnel as per usual. There we go. Oh no, big old bubble there. Okay. So I'm just going to put a little bit in the bottom, just enough to help adhesion. So I've just paused you a second so I could pop some bubbles because there were some big ones in there. But yeah, so I've got about that much resin in there, not a lot, but I feel like that's going to help no end with squishing that down. Okay, whoops. Because I feel like, although it tells you to put the resin in afterwards, I feel like it's going to be really difficult. But there we are, it is what it is. So let me just pop, I'm going to pop the rest of the resin in there now. Because I think that's the better way of doing things, personally. So I'm going to do that. Let that settle a little bit. Pop some into this side. Now these garden ones are much easier. Was there a cap on that? Oh, it was this. There was a cap, wasn't it? Yeah, these garden ones are much easier than your normal mini brands or mini verse ones, because it's just a case of clipping things together, adding a little bit of resin, curing it, and then you're done. But I just thought it'd be a nice little quick video for us to share together today. I feel like I'm running out. Oh, there we go. Obviously, it being flowers, it's not the end of the world if you get some of the resin on the leaves, or obviously you know you're not going to get it on the flowers because the leaves are a lot further down on the stems than the rest of the flower, like the flower heads, so you don't have to worry about that. But I feel like we're flowing a lot better now, which is good. And obviously it's clear what resin, so it does look a bit like water, which is always handy. I don't know how far up I should do this. It doesn't, it shows quite high on the picture. I'm just going to let that settle a little bit. While I'm doing that, I'm going to see how you go in. Oh, okay. So the butterfly looks as though it just clips. So we've got like a hooky bit there and then a clippy bit there. I think this just clips into the clip. The hooky bit, rather. No, I know what I meant. The circular piece there. And then I'm guessing we clip that onto a stem once it's cured. I feel like if you do it before it's cured, you're going to have problems. So now there's a bit of resin in there. Maybe I can manipulate these branches a bit better. Not really. That's okay. It's very stiff plastic, unfortunately. I've now left that right too long, haven't I? Silly me. There we go. So I'm just getting, I think I might just use the whole bottle. I've got loads of clear resin, leftovers from different sets and clear resin I had before I started making these miniatures, like these mini verse and mini brands ones. I mean, obviously I've been making miniatures for a very long time, but I've not been making these miniatures for a very long time. Less than a year I've been invested in miniverse and mini brands. Crazy, absolutely crazy to think. It is my favourite hobby now by far, because it's quick, it's easy, you know. Okay, I don't always follow the instructions, but there are instructions to follow, so it's just a very chill craft, I feel. Yes, there are sometimes frustrations over, you know, bubbles and stuff like that, but for the most part, we're all good. I feel like we're getting to the end of this bottle now. I don't think it's going to go as high up as it showed in the picture. I don't know if that's my fault for not using the, I don't know what to call that. I've been having a bit of a day where I'm forgetting my words. Funnel? Spout? I don't know. Applicator? I know I've said the word before and it's not been an issue, but for some reason right now I can't think of my words. So I think we're coming thoroughly to the end now. As I've said before, never do what I do. Do not shake a bottle of resin that is open when it's upside down. Don't ever do that, because you could splash it everywhere. Luckily I can feel how little there is left in there, so I know that shaking it is not going to make much difference, but it's just going to help to dislodge it a little bit. I feel like I've done about as much as I can out of this bottle now. Oh no, she still has a little bit more to give. Oh, we can do this. Get out. This is your purpose in life. Yeah, it's so funny because I remember my grandmother 2 decades ago now, she was making a doll's house and she was using this clear stuff to make water in the sink in the doll's house. And I remember thinking that was so cool, the fact that she could make water, but it wasn't water and it's set. And it was epoxy resin. Now when I look back on it, but at the time, I can't even remember what she called it. My mum might remember, I'm not sure. But yeah, crazy. That was my first knowledge of resin, and it wasn't an involved one. Now I don't know if anyone else can pick up what's happened here. I've got all of the resin out, but that bung has well and truly come out of the bottom. And unfortunately I've just had to push it back down, which has created so many bubbles. But as I've said previous, it is water, so if we get a couple of bubbles, but there are a lot of bubbles in there at the moment, so I'm just going to pause you a second, let that sit, just to let those bubbles rise and do their thing, and then I will come straight back. So I'm back. I've let the bubbles settle I've got a couple of little ones, but as I say, I think it looks fine considering it's water. I think if I was going to do this one again, I would probably put the bung in. I'd put some resin in like I did, put the bung in, cure it, then put the flower, then put some more resin in, then put the flowers and stems in again, while it's cured into the vase, and then continue with the rest, because I feel like that would make it more stable. Not sure. So I'm just going to move my Hello Kitty. Yes, it's a celebrations box. That's where I'm keeping all of my Hello Kitty spares, because I've run out of room in the space for now. There are a couple more bits and pieces I'm going to be doing to it to make it cohesive. As I say, I might end up sorry, I'm really struggling today. I might end up painting that back panel that we saw. I might not. We will see what I decide. But as I say again, if you have any suggestions on that, please, please, please do comment and let me know what you think I should do. Apologies, I was just moving my lamp around so that, because this is quite high and my lamp is about, it would come to about there. So I needed to move my lamp around so it's now on its side. So yeah, just pop that under there. There we go. So while that's curing, I made this little thing. It's just a little heart and it's made from pink resin. I believe the resin I used was left over from the Disney Cheshire Cat mini brand set, and I just made a little heart because I thought that would look quite nice in my Hello Kitty space. Yeah, I think that'll look quite good. I also, because I was going through my box of Hello Kitty makes that I had previously done, and I also found my little instant noodles pot that I made, which is quite cute. I feel like I was a bit overzealous with the the hot powder. It looks a bit crazy. It looks, but I am planning on putting a spoon into that hole there, or a chopstick, or I've got a couple of holes that I've left there on purpose, so I can put chopsticks in if I want to. I've been popping it on there with my little dragon smoothie bowl on top of it to try and keep this down and train it to go down a bit more. So that's, oh bother, sorry, that's that. Just going to try and pop that back up there. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with me today, and I am ever so sorry. This is not my usual standard of video. But do I have a standard? I don't know. But yeah, it's not my normal. I've not been myself the last couple of days, especially today. Don't know why. I'm fine. I'm not, upset or ill or anything. I've just not been finding my words and just, feeling a bit out of place, but it'll all be good, don't you worry. So that has now cured. Obviously, as always happens, some more bubbles have appeared, but again, I don't think that looks too bad. Now that it's cured, we can probably manipulate these branches a little bit more. I am being heavy-handed because, as I say, they are very thick, non-flexible. I mean, they're flexible, but they're not flexible in the way of they will stay where you put them. They're made from quite hard plastic. So I'm just going to pull these leafy bits down around the outside of the vase like this, and then just hold that in place a moment. And then where am I going to put this? So this is going to be the front of my vase, I've decided. So if we clip you onto, where would look best? Where does it show on here? Okay. Oh no. Well, that's never going to be good, is it? There we go. Let's pop that back down there. So I think I'm going to do it that way around and clip that quite far down. Clip it onto that branch. Does that work? I don't think that works. Let me let go of these branches a moment. I'm going to clip that with that facing upwards like that. I don't feel like it really works any way that you put it, to be honest. You're not going to end up with what you see in the picture, but I shall do my best. So there we go. It kind of worked with the branches. I think maybe if you were to just sort of have a cup of tea or something and just hold this with the other hand while you're doing it, that might be really good, actually, thinking about it, because the heat from the hot drink, if you were to sort of, have a cup of tea or coffee, hold it in this hand, let your hand warm up, and then do this, that might work. But yeah, it has worked a bit. They're not sort of just sticking straight up anymore, which is good. That's what I wanted. But they're not quite the same as they are in the picture, unfortunately. But what do you think? My little flower vase with a butterfly, and obviously a little watering can. So there's their picture. There's how it turned out. Not too bad, I'd say. Not too bad. Well, I hope you all had a lovely fireworks night last night, if you went anywhere. I don't really go out, so I didn't go. But, it was alright. The dogs weren't too bad with the sound of the fireworks, so that was good. But I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.